What I wanted to ask you about is, so the Spirit of Scotland Pipe Band, what's happening with that?
Well, it's reforming, and it's probably a bit of a surprise to us all because it wasn't really in our plans, but the availability of Jim Kilpatrick as leading drummer and bringing a corps is maybe too tempting an opportunity for us all, and it was suggested that we might try and get together, and I sort of contacted all of the guys that previously had played, and unbelievably to a man, everyone wanted to get involved. And I didn't think that was necessarily going to be the case, because in 2008 we did one competition, and the prospect this year, the proposal this year was to do all 5 competitions.
Well, you're both solo pipers, so of course this would have an impact on that. What can you address about that, Willie, as far as it's going to affect the solo season?
I don't think it'll have a big effect on the solo piping for most of us, because the season for the solo pipers really starts taking off. Maybe the 1 week before the Worlds, they have the Masters contest at the Piping Live Festival, but then it's on to Oban and Inverness, and these are the 2 major competitions. So there's other contests take place, but we don't think we'll be too affected by that. And I think the way things work out, I think the pipe band season now is pretty much finished up before the solo prizes are on offer, if you like.
And have practices begun yet for either of the corps?
Yeah, we started shortly after Christmas. It was only sort of just around about December when we started talking about this and coming together with Jim Kilpatrick and his corps. And, I'm not always the best organised person in terms, like I can think back to when I used to do this in my days with Scottish Power. I used to be the coos tail, as they used to say, at the last minute. But Jim has been cracking the whip with me, and in terms of getting tunes organised and March to Space News and medleys and everything like that. So we're not even at the end of January and that's organised, which is amazing, because it gives us lots of time to practice. It's a real bonus and luxury that we've got everything decided already, and so we're all set to go.
When you set out for something like this, Willie, how's the music selected, and has the music been selected for this at this point?
Well, the first thing we thought would be the most straightforward thing was to do the MSRs, and that was a fairly straightforward process, which involved Jim Kilpatrick very closely, and we wanted to get his input about what he thought was the tunes that he could best project the corps. And that tied in pretty well with what we were thinking. So we got them decided pretty quickly. And the next thing was obviously to write one whole medley, which is almost there. We've got some amazing musicians in the band, and the input from a number of people has been. It's in some ways it's made it easy, but in some ways it's made it difficult for selection, because we've got no end of good material to work with. So we're almost there. Roddy's put together most of the new medley, and I'm quite excited about it. I think all the guys at the first practice were as well. When I say guys, I mean guys and girls. So yeah. We're quite confident that we've got a style, I think, that will come out in the medley, and I'm quite excited about it. The original medley we used in 2008, some of that will still be retained with some changes, and at least we know some of the tunes.
Yeah. It's going to be a memorable musical experience for all the guys. From even just the sentimental point of view of it might be Jim's last time playing, and but just a lot of, like it was in 2008, still the same, a lot of really good friends coming together that are round the circuit together for years. you know, whether it's in solo piping or drumming, and people that we enjoy being with and respect, and trying to make a musical collaboration and really make it the best we can make it. So that's what it's really about.
I expect the sound, there'll be some, you're going to maybe try to break some new ground in the style of the sound and the musical repertoire. Like, it seems like bands kind of push the limits to get a unique sound. It's not just playing the tunes, but also to do some surprising things.
You know, there's no point in just putting together medleys that you think, well, everybody else is doing that, so that's the formula. We've tried to say, well, what do we really want to do? You know, and that's not being conceited or anything like that. We want to play music that we think makes sense, and it's musical, and it has some sort of identity. I think that's important. You know, and the difficult thing for Roddy certainly is that he's got 31 pipers there that probably have 31 different ideas. But it's amazing how when the material was, most of it is produced, everybody said, that's great. So we've got a good positive start.
So do you think this is another experiment that's a one-year experiment as opposed to the one competition
One
experiment?
day.
Yeah.
Well, it is a one-season experiment, and you know, it's great, really. I didn't imagine myself doing this, you know, and when the opportunity presented itself, I did sort of think about it and think, is this wise, or should we be doing this? I'm committed to it now, and if I commit to doing something, I try to do it to the best of my ability, and like all of the guys will. Our first practice back together, it was a real buzz that we meeting all the guys again and just having that feeling. And you think, well, I don't know why I was so hesitant to say yes to this all of a sudden, because it's been really good. And you know, hopefully we can go through the season and keep that feeling and the camaraderie. From our point of view, you know, I think we're all maybe of a similar view. We just enjoy it to the full for the year. You know, we're all at an age now, most of us at an age, Billy and I anyway, where, you know, you might not get this kind of opportunity too many times in the future, and, you know, so you just say, well, let's enjoy it to the full, make the most of it, and really try and make something happen that will be good for people to reflect upon and remember.
Yeah. I think most of us are experienced enough to say it's not really about the prizes. You know, we're not expecting to win championships. However, what we really want to do is, I know, but I'm trying to.
Don't put that on.
but I think what we really want to do is play so well, because we're capable of doing that, and if we don't do that, we'll be disappointed. If we play really, really well, we'll be happy. That is, I think that's a lesson. Maybe as we go through life, I think we realise that it's all about how you perform, not about what the prizes are at the end of the day. And if you do perform well, you give yourself a chance, and that's all we're doing. You know, we know we're capable of good things. You know, and
You have to measure yourself by your own standards.
Yep.
And collectively, if the standards if the bar's set high enough, you know, if it's good enough for the guys that are taking part, then hopefully it's going to be good enough for those that are listening to us. And prizes will be a bonus.
Well, it's really exciting. We're all looking forward to it, and best of luck.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I think we'll need it. Yep.
Yeah. Cheers.